Thank you so much for joining us today. It's awesome to finally meet you.
Thanks for having
Um,
me.
yeah, thank you so much. Um, all right, so let's dig in. When no one's watching and there's nothing to prove, who's Milo?
Oh, that's a great question. Um, well, Milo is just a girl, a little bit shy and awkward a lot of times. But it's just me trying to um, learn all the time about myself and about the philosophies I believe in, and just striving to be an optimistic person at all times. And yeah, I don't know. I think,
I love that.
yeah.
That's awesome. And what parts of yourself do you think people misunderstand? Because they know you more as an artist. They know you
Mhm.
through your music. Only the people closest to you know who you are.
Yeah.
Do you feel sometimes that you're misunderstood?
I think I think oftentimes that like my shyness can come off as sometimes maybe standoffish or like mean or something like that, but really it's just I'm just a girl, I like I don't always trust myself um to show my absolute truth to people I don't know, and so I think sometimes that can come off as someone who is a little unsure of themselves, but I'm also very sure and certain of myself at the same time. um so yeah, I think yeah, just being um actually, as I became Milo, I think that confidence started coming out a lot more. But before I like decided to kind of put myself out there as that artist, I was just very to myself and very quiet about a lot of things. And so I think just kind of it's hard for people to get through that shell and that kind of like wall I have up to protect myself. But yeah, so I think, yeah, I don't know if that answered the question, but.
Oh, that's no, that's perfect. I can actually definitely relate to that.
Mhm.
I remember myself being a very awkward, shy, kind of a nerdy person in high
Mhm.
school, and my best friend actually, initially thought I was the worst person ever. Like she thought I was mean. She thought I was dry and cold. And then she's like, after we became friends, she says, you know what? I really used to think you were a mean girl. I'm like, girl, no, I'm just really
No.
awkward.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I can relate to that. Yeah.
Mhm.
So do you ever feel like being an artist gives you permission to be emotional in ways that you might not allow yourself to in your day-to-day life?
Mhm. Yeah, I think that 100%. I like I said, I've always been more quiet about my emotions and that kind of stuff. And I think for me, music has always been therapy. It's always been a way for me to express my truth without feeling like it's being like taken apart or like misunderstood. And so I think it also, because I'm not the best at like words. Like I'm not the best at just like speaking about myself. Even this is like a little bit difficult, but I think when it comes to writing music and to singing, there's like this freedom that comes with it that allows me to be more real and more raw. And I think also in the way that I write, like it's not so direct, but for me, it like is exactly what I'm feeling, if that makes sense. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's always been like my therapy and my way to truth and honesty.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think art gives us that power. I
Mhm.
do the same with creative nonfiction. So
Mhm.
a little more boring, but like it
Oh.
helps. It's like it's me talking, but not really talking. Like I can express it on paper. You can make
Yeah,
of it what you will. Maybe it's
exactly
similar
that.
in songs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, exactly. But so you've said vulnerability is kind of difficult outside of music.
Hmm.
What feels risky about being seen in real time? Like when you're up on that stage singing about possibly a personal experience,
Hmm.
does that feel risky?
I think that feels extremely risky and extremely vulnerable. And I think um, knowing that or feeling that performance is my like most honest self, I think that's what allows me to feel so confident in it. Um, like anyone else, I get like extremely nervous before I go up and do these things. Especially like 10 minutes before, I'm like having a panic attack, being like, why did I choose to do this? But then I think as soon as like I allow my voice to take over, and I'm not, it like completely takes me out of my head. And so I'm not singing from my head or from my thoughts at all anymore. And it's just coming straight from the heart and like my entire body and my entire essence. And so I feel like just, yeah, just knowing that I'm no longer stuck in here has allowed me to progress and become, like, I think the best performer that I can be. Yeah.
That's awesome. So then do you think you're using music as a way to cope, or do you think you're using it as a way to just express yourself?
I think it's a bit of both. I think when it comes to the writing portion and like that creative process in the beginning, I think that is a coping mechanism. It allows me to kind of like distinguish where I'm at in relationships or in just my life in general, like who I am and where I'm at in that moment. And like the writing process kind of feeds me and lets me like pour out. And then I think once we get to like the actual vocal performance portion of it is when um, it's like when that freedom comes again.
Hmm. That's awesome.
Hmm.
So are there things that you've only ever said in songs?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think the best part about being honest in a song is it's written in such a way that maybe I will only understand it and you might understand it in whatever way it makes sense to you, and it becomes your truth as well as mine in whatever
Right.
that you need it to. And I think that's like the most beautiful part about it, because I do get to be extremely vulnerable and you can guess what that's about forever. I know what
Yeah,
it is. And whatever it means to you becomes what it means to you. And I think, yeah, that's just a beautiful part of
I, I,
writing.
I agree. Yeah.
Hmm.
Because it's poetry. Like songs are poetry, right? And
Yeah.
poetry, we study them in school, and you probably remember your teacher sits you down and says, well, what do you think this means? And it's like the
Mhm.
poet might be like, no, that's literally just about me, doing a normal thing. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's the beauty of it. Has anyone ever confronted you about something that they learned through your music, where maybe they were like, oh, like, I can't believe you never told me about this, or how could you sing about me? Or
I think, yeah, I mean, I think definitely a lot of my music has been about my relationships. I think
Mhm.
oftentimes, um, like my partners in the past have been like, oh, that's how you really feel about me, kind of thing. But really, I think what gets confused oftentimes is when I'm writing about like how I'm feeling in relationships, it's very much about like also like my personal understanding of that relationship. So it doesn't actually necessarily reflect where we're at together, but where I am and what I'm feeling in this space. And so sometimes that can cause like a little confusion and rift in my relationship. So usually it would just be like whomever I'm like writing about while I'm with them at that time might be like, well, you haven't said this to me out loud, but it's like, that's because I'm not good at speaking to you, but I can write it in a song and then you can hear it and then we can talk about
Yeah,
it.
absolutely. Um, yeah, and everyone's looking at life through their own lens, right? So
Mhm.
the way that you see the relationship, or the way that you see a person, might be completely different from the way that they see the relationship and how they see you. So I can
Mhm.
understand how that might cause a little bit of friction there.
Mhm.
What's the scariest thing you've ever admitted in a song?
Mhm. If I'm speaking honestly, I would say probably admitting that I was not in love, without admitting it to the person first.
Yeah, that would do
Yeah, I
it.
think that can be a dangerous thing to an extent, but I think that again for me, this is my therapy, right? So it's like I wouldn't have said it at all if I didn't say it in a song. So like it gives me that freedom to then be like, okay, actually this is a conversation that we need to have. But I didn't even know I was feeling that way until it came out in a song, if that makes sense.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, I understand what you mean. Putting it on paper, writing it out,
Hmm.
it's a different kind of epiphany almost
Hmm.
sometimes. And yeah.
Yeah.
Um, well, then, on that note, what's the emotional cost of being honest in your work?
Um, hmm. I guess the emotional cost of being honest is like, the thought of potentially losing comfortability. I think I'm a type of person that easily falls into comfort and will sit there for as long as I possibly can until it gets uncomfortable, even if that comfort is not actually bringing me joy or excitement in that way. So I
Mhm.
think and that's not even just relationships, that could just be in my like personal life of like staying in a certain job when I know that I can do more, or like that kind of thing. I often get stuck in comfortability, and doing music has very often, almost always, got me out of that comfortability and pushed me into a new place, pushing boundaries. And yeah.
Well, then with this kind of, because I tend to do the same thing. I think we're very similar, actually. Just like the cooler musician. Um, do you find yourself getting stuck in your music because you're used to this comfortable way of living? Like,
Yeah, I think that's very fair as well. I think there's also times where my music has kind of been like the same thing for like 4 years. It's like the exact same
mhm,
song written just slightly differently to a different beat, or it's like a very similar sound to like what I already did 5 times. And so but I think that's just like any form of art. It's like we do get stuck for a moment until we are able to like fully release whatever that is. Um,
right.
Out into the scene. It might take 30 songs, it might take 17 portraits, like whatever it is, it might take a certain amount of time until you can move past that and start creating something different. And I think that's actually like a beautiful part of this is like, okay, so for 2 years, all of my music's going to sound one way. And then 2 years later, I'm going to pop out with something completely different. It's going to be a dance song. I'm going to be excited and I'm going to show a different version of myself. So I think that's like both, yes, being comfortable, but it's also like, allowing time for you to be whomever you are at that moment, and then being okay with the change that comes for the next project, or, you know, yeah.
Absolutely. So do you think that actually makes me wonder because we see artists sometimes rebranding themselves, right?
Mhm.
It's like, what do you mean? You were a pop artist and now you're a country artist. Like, what's going
Mhm.
on? Do you feel like as this artist is growing and kind of having those aha moments and realizing that they're stuck and they're like now they're a different person and they need to try this thing with their sound or their music? It's not really rebranding. It's more of like, okay, I was stuck in a rut and now I'm trying something different, or now this kind of like applies to who I am right now.
Mhm.
Um, I'm sure that's, oh, I guess where I'm going with this is, I'm sure that kind of puts pressure on you to, okay, like people know me as this kind of artist. It's going to be a risk to try this
Yeah,
now.
absolutely. No, I think that's so true, and I think every single artist of all types goes through that. And I think um that has actually been what kind of stops so many people from continuing to do things. And I think um, we just have to be less afraid, especially in this time where music is changing so much and it's kind of going back to its roots of like being natural and being like true to like artists and instruments and all that kind of stuff. And so I think it's definitely a risk that we have to take, I think, because if you are kind of worried about what everyone else is going to think about you,
Yeah,
um for example, like I originally do R&B soul, and so if I stick to that forever, it's like, okay, that's great because the people that loved me already loved me, and like great, but like
exactly.
what about reaching a new audience? What about expanding beyond what you already know? And I think that being okay with those changes and like pushing for a change actually is going to be more beneficial to the artist in the future. And it might be weird for a lot of people right away. Like if I just throw out a country
Yeah.
song, people might be like, what the heck? But they also might be like, wait, this is really cool and different. I'm excited to see what's next, because maybe next it's like a rock song, like who knows, kind of thing. And I think the more you're open to multiple genres or multiple like ways of expressing yourself, the actual like the more your audience builds, the more people get to know you and understand that like, oh, this is a person that has a lot going on and that is expansive and that I'm interested in more now.
I,
They've done something.
I agree.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's nice that the audience or the listener has faith in the artist, because I
Hmm.
feel like if you think of people like Post Malone, for example, he wasn't always a country singer,
Hmm.
but when he became a country singer, that's when people loved him.
Yeah.
But he wasn't for
Right.
a while, you know. Like
Mhm.
I think when he first came out, it was like, and then yeah, now he's a country artist, and everyone's like, this is amazing.
And I think
Same with
too,
Beyonce. She kind of go ahead.
yeah, no, I was just gonna say with that, I think too, oftentimes we start somewhere because we think that's what we're supposed to do. And then through becoming more confident in ourselves and what we are able to do, that's when things change. And like you see people doing like because yes, he wasn't a country artist, but if you go back to when he started, he was. And so he had to go through this stage of like finding himself in those different pockets in order to get back to like what he truly is. And so I think that's what all of this is about, what art is about, is trying all these things until you do find what your element is. And maybe your element is multiple things,
Right.
or it's like something that took you a while to get to, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we going back to the whole, expressing yourself through kind of your music and expressing your pain and your vulnerability through your music. Do you ever feel the pressure to package your pain in a way that's consumable to listeners?
Oh, absolutely. I think I think anyone starting this career, it's like in the beginning, you're told to do things a certain way and to package yourself a certain way. Even like when I was starting out, I was being packaged as this R&B singer, and like my clothes had to match that. My like my videos had to match that specific vibe. But really, I'd be at home wearing like sweatpants and a sweater and just like vibing and chilling and
Do you ever use music to say goodbye or to set boundaries or to reclaim power?
yeah,
Do you
absolutely.
use it to make big decisions like that?
I think like yes, that's pretty much why I do music in general, because like I said, I am and always have been like that shy awkward girl who doesn't speak about herself or doesn't like tell her opinions to others and that kind of stuff. And so in music, writing in such a way that I understand it has allowed me to set boundaries and to be open with people that I might not have been open with before. Um, yeah, I the answer is yes.
Like short, sweet, to the
Yeah.
point, perfect. What does healing look like to you? Not the polished version, not the version we want to hear, but the real one.
um, I think that healing for me specifically is sitting with myself, and this might take a long time, but like actually getting to the root of like where I'm coming from and why I am in a rut or why I'm sad or that kind of thing. It's like actually sitting with those emotions and like developing them through writing and like like reading things that are like spiritual and that can like guide you back to yourself. Like I'm a very spiritual person, and I think reading has been a huge thing for me to get to a place where I am able to express, because I'm seeing how other people do things, how people get back to themselves. And I think it's so important to like share our experience because we learn from others, right? And so it's like sitting with myself, but also like finding people in a similar situation that have overcome it already and learning from them has been like a
Absolutely.
big thing for me. Yeah.
I think that's powerful, because sometimes when you kind of sit back and look at your own situation from a third person's point of view, you
Mhm.
do that's when things wake up in your mind, right? That's when there's growth and there's healing, and like you said, just kind of taking oh my God. Taking
I know we're both
taking
just like, wait.
we're both like, why is it this like this? Okay. Yeah, that's very powerful. And it's kind of like finding advice through,
Mhm.
those other mediums. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Um, who are you trying to be when you first started releasing music, and how different are you today?
Mm. I think when I first started doing music, I was trying to be like the next pop star, the next Rihanna, the next like just the next big thing. And I felt like I was allowing other people to have such a huge role in like how a song is going to sound, and kind of, yeah, just like the image I was putting out. I had like a team that was dressing me and like, that kind of stuff. So when I started this, I was like, okay, I'm going to be like the next pop star. But I think now, doing this for like over 10 years now, I've just like learned that like, for me at least, it's not about being the next pop star, but instead it's about sharing with the masses, and whatever mass that is, the ones that will understand me, and all the opportunities that I'm given, I just want to be myself, basically. I think right now my focus is on being Milo and being, you know, open to the fact that maybe I don't have a specific genre that I fit in, and maybe creating my own space completely,
Mhm.
and seeing where that kind of takes me. So I've kind of built a team now that really knows me, and we have like a close friendship relationship, and I think having friends on your team is like the most important thing to start, because you get to be truthful. And I think with that, now that I'm more truthful version of myself, I think that's going to actually take me a lot further than the start of being like, I want to be a pop star, you know?
I agree. Absolutely.
Yeah.
What parts of yourself does the industry reward, and what parts do you think it ignores?
um, so I would say the parts that the industry rewards is definitely like my image. I think that I have, the typical, like, she's an attractive girl. She has a beautiful voice. Let's build that. But I think the parts that are maybe not as noticed, or not kind of like put forward, is like the actual emotion that I express through my music, and the actual essence of myself, which is very spiritual and very down to earth, and also quiet and timid. And they don't want quiet and timid in the industry. Like, and I think, or maybe they do, but not for the reasons, like, so that they can like build on them. But like mine is like quiet and timid because that's who I am, and
Mhm.
I'm not also willing to change that for the industry, I think. So yeah.
And I'm sure
But
that's been hurtful for you
yeah,
in
oh,
the
for
past.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and how did you kind of break through that? Were there opportunities that you might have missed, or
Yeah, I think throughout my entire career so far, there's definitely tons of opportunities that I missed. I went through a bit of a hiatus, even the last like 2 years, with some things kind of breaking down within my team and like different stuff like that. And then just also being like, wait, am I supposed to be doing this? Like, is this for me? And so, but I think kind of coming back to it, and recognizing like, oh, this is exactly what I want to do, not because I want to be the next best thing, but because this is the only thing that I have this much passion about, that I think deserves to be shared with the world, you know? S-
absolutely?
Not sure if I answered the question again, but
No, that's beautiful. That's perfect. Yeah, I love that. How do you know when a song is finished versus when you're just afraid to go deeper?
ooh, it's a great question. I think for me personally, I know when a song is finished when I feel really excited about it. And I'm like, oh, I want to share this with all my friends, and like I want to show my mom and dad, and like, um and I can start seeing a visual for it. I can start seeing the projection of it. I see it in movies. I see it, in all these places. So I think that's when a song is finished for me. And then a song that I just kind of am not sure about or need to dive deeper on is usually like, often. So let me take that back. Oftentimes I do a lot of my songs in one take. So majority of my one takes have been songs that I actually put out into the world. It's when I'm like sitting with a song and I'm not sure about the melodies lining up. I'm not sure about how these lyrics are going. I'm like very like this just if something doesn't feel right.
Mhm.
But it's not to say that the song is bad. Like someone might thoroughly love it, but just something doesn't feel right inside of me, and so I'm like trying to avoid it. And sometimes it's not even like I'm trying to avoid it because it's bad. Maybe I'm trying to avoid it because I'm not there yet in a place where I'm like, okay, this is actually what I want to say or
Mhm.
what I feel comfortable in. Um, but also, I think it is important though to not just like throw those things in the trash, but to actually give myself and give yourself space to then come back to it, say after like you've done three other songs or after you've experienced a few other things in life in general, to come back to that and be like, okay, where was I at? Can I improve this? Or does that now make more sense with where I'm at now and it's going to feel right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. So when you look back at your older songs, do you ever look at them from obviously like you've grown and you've changed since then? Do you ever look back and think
All the
and
time.
yeah.
There's actually a few songs on my album that I put out a couple years ago that I just look back at now and I'm like, this is a terrible song. I'm sure some people like it, but like I do not like this at all. I wasn't being honest. Like I think the ones that I go back to the most often that I'm like, is the ones that I was not honest with myself in. Or I was literally just making it because someone was like, oh, you have to do this because it's more upbeat and it'll be fun. And
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah, exactly.
so something that, yeah, so any song that I'm wasn't honest in and or was being kind of like told to make it a certain way is always the ones that I'm like, what was happening there? But they happened and like I'm not mad at that. I don't regret any of them, but I think there's always ones where you're like, well, now I would definitely not do it like that. So
Absolutely.
but that's the
That's
way life is, right? So
absolutely for sure. Yeah. What version of you exists between projects? When the noise dies down, when it's just you, what version of Milo exists?
um well, so actually, Milo is my artist name. It was a name given to me by my dad when I was like in high school. He's like the king of nicknames, so he just started calling me Milo. And once I decided to become an artist, I turned that on. And I became Milo. I became that confident girl. I became, the one that dresses really cool and like, has her shit together. Excuse my language. Um, but when I'm not turned on in that way, I'm just Mariah. And that, like, I'm just, a girl who likes to read, like, spiritual books and who likes to spend a lot of her days outside if she can, or, just like to sit down, watch movies with her friends. Like, I have my core group of friends that are like my everything. And I'm very much also super family oriented. So, like, I just like to be at home with my family, hanging out, playing cards. Like, I'm a very, like, just chill. I feel like everything's gonna be fine. And, like, I'm just laid back in that way, I think. And so, when I get to turn off that Milo version of myself, do I do like to just be still and be like very present in the moment. I think when I turn Milo on, it's like I'm thinking of the future. I'm thinking of what's next. I'm thinking about this music and that program and this and that. And so
Yeah.
turning it off, becoming Mariah is just like the chill, shy girl.
Would you ever bring out Mariah into your music?
I think, yes. So I think my music is written by Mariah, but it's
Right.
performed by Milo. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like, cause like I said, it's like all my therapy. It's just like what I'm writing in my journal, and then we turn on some melodies and make it a thing. I think um, the writing process is very much that version of myself, and then Milo really comes out when it's like, okay, I want the world to see this, so now I have to be confident. Now I have to like put on my best face. Now I have to, take charge of myself and like pretend that I'm actually not shy. Like when I, for example, when I went into Remix Project years ago to start my career, I literally went in the first day and I was like, I'm gonna pretend like I've never been shy ever in my life. And I just walked in and like said hello to everyone and like, you know, had conversations right away. And so I think for business purposes, that's when Milo comes on. For
Right.
just like the creation of music, it's still very much just me at my core.
I can definitely relate to that. I do, I anchor at 880 Ched, like a news station.
Hmm.
And they're trying to get, like, for a while, they were trying to get me to do global news on TV. And I said, I'm very awkward. They're like, no, you're so confident. I'm like, trust me.
I'm just
Trust
pretending
me.
here, but
Yeah. Yeah. So in a sense, Milo is just that extra push, that confidence for you.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Congratulations on the release of Noches. Am I saying that correctly?
Mhm. Yes. Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
I love that song. It's very it's like ethereal almost. I really like
Thank
it.
you.
um Noches feels like it lives in the quiet moments of the night when distractions fall away and emotions surface. Did you go into this project knowing what you wanted to express, or did the meaning kind of reveal itself as you were creating?
So that was another one that was like a one take. I was just chilling in the basement at my guitar player Dean, his house, and we when we create, we always kind of create together, like just play and then the melodies flow. And that was literally just like whatever was in my head just came out. Um, and so, um, yeah, I think it was very much. Yeah, just like the quiet moments of the night, and expressing that. And I think, though, as we've kind of like edited it and like really made it whole, I think it became something more. And usually
Mhm.
that kind of is what happens. Like it becomes, it's now the focus. And so I'm hearing it in a different way and I'm like relating it to different parts of me and different parts of like relationships and that kind of stuff.
And because you've said music kind of allows you to access honesty that sometimes you might not be able to express just in an everyday setting. How did that play out in Noches?
Um, yeah. So I guess, again, it kind of comes from just sitting with myself. And so when I allow these kind of things to just come out of me, like it's a, like I said, it's a one take. Like even the lyrics were one take. It was just like literally whatever came out of me was gonna come out of me. And so I think I've built a space, at least with my like guitarist and my bass player and like just my team in general. I've built such a comfortable place with them that I my honesty actually flows out. And
Hmm.
I can't do that when I'm just at a random studio with a random person for the day. Like usually those ones take me like a little bit more time, but because I have such a great relationship, like I've been working with my same guitarist for 8 years, and we're like really good friends now. That's basically my brother. And so
Yeah.
I think being able to work with someone who I feel so confident in what they do, like I think that he's an absolutely incredible producer, guitar player, musician in general, and we align really well on like the things that we want to create. And so already the atmosphere is allowing for me to be honest and for things to flow out. And I think that that was super important to me, and that's something that I'm going to take with me throughout my entire career, is that relationship and knowing that that can be built. Um, and it does take time. Like again, I said, it's taken us like 8 years to get to a point where everything we do is just kind of like flowing out. Um,
Right.
but I think, yeah, having that relationship has allowed me to be even more honest in everything that I do. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. What does it express about you?
Yeah. I think, well, now that the song is out, I think, well, for one, it's like very different from what I had been doing in the past. I haven't actually released anything for about 2 years. And so this is my first release, kind of, I guess, rebranding, but not really, just like coming out to the world again and being like, actually, I'm still doing this, like, just so you know. So I think that this song really has allowed me to express that I can do very different things. Like I don't have to be an R&B soul singer. Like I can do these electronic, like hazy kind of cinematic vibes. And I also think that with this release, like I have recognized, like, oh, okay, I can do music for movies. And so I think that also has like revealed that to me. And like, so my next step is like looking into sync a little bit more and that kind of stuff. I think lyrically, it kind of reveals, and this has been all of my music my whole life, but like specifically, I think this song reveals me kind of recognizing that I want to come out of my shell. Like it says in the song, gotta get out of this body before it leaves me overgrown.
Mhm.
And so that's literally just me talking about getting out of myself and like um, kind of going into my soul and like becoming that version of myself and like leaving behind the like negative or like the version of myself that thought, oh, maybe this isn't for me, and like
Mhm.
recognizing I know what I'm doing. I'm going to do it on my own time. It's not your business, but also like I do want to share it with you. And so, yeah.
Absolutely. Love that. Um, so you kind of touched on it a little bit with that answer. But is there a part of yourself or your artistry that you're kind of hoping to explore a little more in the future?
Yeah, so definitely I want to explore the sync world a lot more. Um, and but a part of myself that I want to explore is definitely genre bending. Like I think I really have a tone of my voice that can do a lot of different things.
Hmm.
And instead of fearing or not fearing, but trying to create a package for everything that I do, like I feel like in the past I've always been like, okay, I'm creating an album, I'm creating this, I'm doing this. But I think right now my focus is like, I'm dropping a single if I like the way it sounds. I'm dropping a dance song. I might drop a country song. I might drop a rock song. Like I feel like I don't want to be packaged anymore. So like
Yeah,
with this release and with the next couple that I have coming, they're each different vibes and it might not make sense in a whole package, but it also still makes so much sense if you listen to the lyrics and you listen to like the sounds and the way it makes you feel. Like it's still gonna be Milo, but it's gonna show all the different things that I can do, I think.
I'm excited. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Thank you.
Um, so if your younger self could hear this song, what would you want her to know or feel?
Oh, I would want her to know that she becomes a very brave and honest person. Um, and like I would want her to feel that truth coming out and like feel that like she has the ability to do whatever she sets her mind to. Being a shy person as a young person, I just went with the flow of everything. I never like had an opinion. I never said too much. And I think her being able to see how far I've come, and then with this new release, like the leaving all of that in the past and like coming into yourself, I think
Yeah.
she would just be really proud, and it would be a cool experience to be like, you know what, you're doing it, and you keep doing it, even though you wanted to give up so many times.
I think little Mariah or little Milo would be very proud of you.
Yeah,
And
I
this
think
is very proud of you.
so.
Thank you so much. Before to wrap things up a little bit, I'm gonna do a set of just rapid fire questions.
Okay,
Ready?
ready.
Okay. Early morning or late night grind?
Late night grind.
All right. Go to outfit before a show.
Ooh, like for the show.
Before.
Before.
Like before
Oh,
you change into your outfit.
oh, definitely just like a comfy tracksuit for sure. Hmm. And
Mhm.
really, really comfy socks, like thick, fluffy. Yes.
Love that. Love that. Song that always gets you hyped up.
Oh, um, that's so hard. I feel like my song choices change like every year, but this past summer, it was called Body Movin'.
Okay.
Um, and I'm forgetting the artist right now, but
And
it's like a EDM, like not EDM, like more of a house. Honestly, house music in general is gonna be
okay.
go to. hype it
Yeah, that
up.
sounds like a good choice.
Yeah.
A song that you wish you wrote.
Ooh, wow. Anything off of the Anti album by Rihanna.
Oh, yes. Studio or stage?
Stage.
Hardest part of the creative process.
Mm, hardest part is like finalizing songs. Really like get into the intricate engineering portions of things. I like to be very involved in that process, and I think that's always the most tedious.
A favorite city that you've performed in.
Ooh, I did a festival in upstate New York, and I did it 2 years in a row, and still to this day I like try to be like, can I come one more time? So definitely, yeah, that festival called Otis Mountain Festival, upstate New York.
Love that.
Mhm.
The best compliment you've ever received about your music.
Oh gosh. Um uh I've gotten it from a few people, but I would say um the best compliment is when people say that they have resonated to a point where it has helped them move past a moment in their life. So whether that was a relationship or a hardship with family, just someone who has listened closely enough and it has helped them move past something. Yeah.
Awesome.
My
A show or a movie that you wish your music would be featured in.
goodness. Literally anything, but recently, um, hmm, I've been watching that show, Tell Me Lies. I think one of my songs would fit very nicely in there.
I hope that dream comes true for you.
Yes. True.
And what's next? Evolution or elevation?
Both. Definitely both. Still so much more changes to come, but I definitely think that they're coming on a uphill
I
incline.
love
That's
that.
the word I'm looking for.
That- Well, Milo, thank you so much for joining us. I had such a great time chatting with you.
Thank you. Me
Um,
too.
and thanks for being open with us. Good luck with everything. Um, and yeah, have a great rest of your weekend, all that
Thank
good stuff.
you. You too. It was so nice to meet you, and you were the
Nice to meet
sweetest. So
you
it
too.
was great chatting with
Oh,
you. So thank
thank you. That's really sweet. Thank you.
you.